strategic partner. But now, it seems Trump has flipped the script from his first term to now. What started with words of affirmation and praises following the Pahalgam terror attack against India to exploring avenues of business has now descended completely into backing a terror sponsor straight, neglecting everything else in Pakistan's history. It seems like the art of the deal is blinding the US to the realities of terror networks. Amidst the back and forth with India on ceasefire claims and trade deal, the US seems to be offering Pakistan a seat at the table, possibly at India's expense. But here's what Trump is forgetting. The US needs India, all the more if it is trying to counterbalance China's influence in the region. Pump as it may as much money in Pakistan, it's not really going to give them the returns that India can. Secondly, can Pakistan be trusted as a reliable partner? And what does it say about America's global priorities against terror? We'll take that and more up with our guest joining us in just a bit. The US interest in Pakistan's critical minerals is driven by the need for reliable sources for its national security and economic stability. That is what Trump is keeping above the fight against terror. But here's what he's forgetting, that he himself agreed to the fact that Pakistan was providing safe haven to terrorists, many of them working against US interests. The crypto deal involving a Trump family-linked firm aims to integrate blockchain technology into Pakistan's financial system. But here, the US seems to have turned a blind eye to Pakistan's role in the recent Pahalgam terror attack. And how does it expect India to have any friendship with America beyond what it has already if this is what US is going to do? Trump's latest focus on regaining Bagram Air Base is also seen as part of a strategy to project US military power against China and Iran in the region. But the US is ignoring Pakistan's own double game on Afghanistan for decades that he himself accepted to. Trump's change of heart about Pakistan is seen as an attempt to counterbalance China's influence. They don't want Pakistan to go completely in China's arm. But what the US is conveniently ignoring are allegations of violations of domestic rights and abuse by Pakistan, and it cannot really whitewash Pakistan, even if that is what Trump is aiming to do. Now, this Pak love isn't new for the US, and there's a history attached to it, history we in India very well remember. The US allied with Pakistan via SATO and CENTO, providing $700 million in aid in 1965. This was to counter the Soviet influence and India's non-alignment. The arms supplied contributed to 1965 India-Pakistan war, with early ISI-backed militancy in Kashmir, though largely ignored by USA against an independent India. Then US President Nixon had deployed the 7th Fleet to intimidate India in the Bay of Bengal during the 1971 India-Pak war, despite Pakistan's atrocities in Bangladesh, because of which India had to get involved. Remember, the US channeled $3 to $6 billion through Pakistan's ISI to arm the Mujahideen against the Soviets well into the 80s and 90s. But inadvertently, they strengthened Pakistan's anti-India capabilities. The ISI diverted many of that funds to groups that later became the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Pakistan, designated a major non-NATO ally in 2004, received as much as $33 billion for Afghan operations over the years, despite the fact that it was found harboring both Taliban and Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists and operatives on its own land, not to forget, of course, Osama bin Laden himself. India, meanwhile, is keeping a close watch and has made its position very clear. There will be no third-party mediation when it comes to the bilateral issues of India and Pakistan. But what are the other options available for India, given that Trump is adopting such a pro-Pakistan approach? It's not just, balancing Pakistan and India relationship. It's now gone a step further. Well, India could engage in high-level diplomatic outreach, not just with the US but other countries, but also remind Washington of India's strategic value, particularly as a counterbalance to China. India can deepen its engagement with other allies such as other members of the Quad, namely Australia and Japan, to reaffirm strategic partnerships and present a united front in the Indo-Pacific region. India can accelerate efforts to build stronger economic ties with non-US markets. This could include further engagement with economic blocs in Southeast Asia, Africa and Europe. All of this seems to be happening as we speak. India can continue to invest in military and strengthen its own defense capabilities. This is also something that has been a big focus and something that has stood India in good stead despite this 4-day war against Pakistan and everything that happened against India. The fact is that India was able to fight this war on its own and with capabilities that stunned the world. The provocative approach that US has adopted, it can of course lead to a response from India. As far as geopolitical shifts affecting the security interests are concerned, India can continue to assert its strategic independence as seen with its rejection of US mediation in India-Pakistan conflict recently and its refusal to stop purchasing Russian oil. But with our guests, we delve a little bit deeper into what is behind this US-Pak tango. Is this purely business above what should be a principled terror fight? Yes, principles are not involved here. It's everybody's strategic interests at the fore. But is it a personal business interest that is now overriding a country's policy? That's coming up.
Your meetings that you talked about between the US president and other dignitaries, we've taken note of those meetings. जहाँ तक मध्यस्थता की बात है, वहाँ भी तीसरे किसी भी पक्ष की द्विपक्षीय मुद्दों पे भारत और पाकिस्तान के बीच में द्विपक्षीय जो मुद्दे हैं, उसमें कोई जगह नहीं है तीसरे पक्षों का.
Let's go across to our guest joining us. Ashok Sajjanhar is former Indian diplomat, Major General A.K. Sivach, defense and strategic expert. Tarakarta, former director of NSCS, is also joining us. Tarakarta, I want to begin with you. Do you see Trump and his particular brand of US presidency that we're seeing in the second term about, mostly focusing on what works for America and everybody else be damned? Do you see those business interests really overpowering what should be an India or a Pakistan policy, what should be a Southeast Asia policy, or any policy for that matter? He's upturned absolutely everything that US stood for in the last couple of years.
I would 100% agree with you. This is an overturning of no mean order. It's like turning a glass literally upside down. But, see, you have to differentiate between style and substance. This is Trump's style, where he does everything, it's all a drama. It's all up on the screens. It's all on Twitter. Underneath what you see is the policy, which is what we need to take off, which is a West Asian policy. This whole drive with Pakistan, I wouldn't say 100%, but a large part of it is linked to their West Asia. I mean, just look at the recent meeting which he had with these two people, where, by the way, Shehbaz Sharif looks absolutely terrified. But it is also followed a summit with the OIC and a couple of these leaders, Qatar, all of them together. We're talking about, ending the war in Gaza. So this is, and also if you recall, the first meeting when all this started rolling, the whole part of the US started rolling, this Ishaq Das readout with Marco Rubio was entirely to do with Iran. So in this instant, this is CENTCOM working. CENTCOM has a particular direction in its policy, which is, of course, US policy. It's not independent of that. PACOM has a different set of policies. We come under the PACOM directives. Now, it's easy to say, but for us to draw those lines is difficult. There is no change in the Pacific policy. There is considerable change in the CENTCOM policy, which is to do with Iran, Saudi Arabia. There's a recent, very strange defense agreement. And Iran joining it, saying it's okay. So there are some very, very strange moves here in this West Asian checkboard.
You think that is dominating what Trump is doing vis-a-vis Pakistan? It's not so much to needle India, it's not so much to put pressure on India for everything that we are on the negotiating table with them for?
That's why I made that difference. His style is this. He is needling you. There is no doubt two ways. He is, I mean, he knows this is going to get your goat. He could have done this quietly. He could have called, on a normal one-on-one with Shehbaz Sharif, with the ambassadors present. This is a completely secret meeting. Even the ambassadors are not there. His style is designed to provoke you, but the substance is West Asian policy. It has got nothing to do in principle with us. In principle,
Okay.
it does bother you a lot in terms of Pakistan getting a bigger role, which could also bring it trouble, which we can discuss later. But that is what is going on. But he's using it also to needle you.
Okay. Major General, what is your view of giving such a prime spot to both Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir, and this time at least the Prime Minister was there, last time it was just Munir. What do you read into this, and will there be any alarm bells for Indian military setup, given that this could open the roads not just for business deals, but a lot of funding, a lot of military partnership with Pakistan further, and we know where most of that money or most of that defense capabilities go. They either are posturing against India or are used against India.
Yeah, Shivani, no doubt. See, as far as Pakistan relation improving with USA is a cause of concern for us, and the way now Asim Munir has again gone and along with Shehbaz Sharif and Donald Trump and met them twice in 3 days. There are three, four things which stand out. One is that you have to connect it also the Saudi Pakistan defense deal. That wouldn't have happened without taking blessing of US. And that will bring a lot of money to Pakistan because Saudis have a lot of assets, they have got cash, they have got money, they will give to Pakistan. It will modernization of Pakistan defense forces will be a cause of concern. That's point one. The second issue is that the way Pakistan is coming closer to US. Now, this is a cause of concern because you remember that Pakistan is being sponsoring terrorism in India. Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed terrorists are being sponsored, trained, and financed by Pakistan. And America knew it, and America will be overlooking it. America's own interests are more important. As far as Donald Trump, America first. He said that he wants a Nobel Peace Prize in which Pakistan has sponsored. He stopped 7 wars, including you can say Cambodia, Thailand war, then Kosovo, Serbia war, Iran, Israel war, Azerbaijan, Armenia war. He says Israel, Iran war, and India, Pakistan war. Whereas we have been telling this war had nothing to do with US. It was DGMO Pakistan spoke to DGMO India. Not having said this, the other interest is a cryptocurrency. Then the basically minerals which are there in Pakistan overnight that has become important. But more than that, two, three things are more important. One is the Saudi Pakistan deal, Bagaram, that they want Bagaram airfield back again. They feel Pakistan can help them out, can impress upon Taliban, and it can control the China influence in this region. And it also will able to do anything and everything what Pakistan can be made to do with money because they want bases in case they have to strike back in Iran. And therefore also they need Pakistan. So overall, if the Pakistan will become much closer to US as it used to be earlier, Pakistan is known to play a double cross that it may do, but it will get a lot of money, and this will further modernize their defense forces. Though they are taking 81% of their defense equipment from China in last about 5 to 7 years, but if they get money from US, this will help them out. And another thing is that if they are not being put in grey list by Financial Action Task Force, because they are known for doing money laundering and terrorist funding, it is kind courtesy America. Because America control all these financial institutions, IMF, World Bank, European Development Bank, Asian Development Bank. So they can also get the fund through that. So blessing of US will be always required by Pakistan, and they were missing it for last about 5 to 7 years. And Trump 2.0 has brought them together and kind courtesy Asim Munir. And especially after Operation Sindoor, we have found out that there is a change of attitude. As
Exactly.
Far as,
If this was
another
something
thing,
that was...
Shivani,
Sir, I'll come back to you. If this
one
was
thing.
something...
Another very important thing, Shivani, is the way the Donald Trump has treated India. You do not treat a strategic partner like this by putting 50% of tariff on India when he knows that we are a prime member of Quad, which if they have to fight against China and Indo-Pacific, they need India more than India needs
Well,
US.
Donald Trump has been treating literally everybody, whether even when it comes to Canada or some of their NATO partners or European partners, everybody with disdain. As Tarakata said, I'll borrow from it. It's his style, if not as much substance. But you pointed out something very accurately, Major General. I'll take that to Ashok Sajjanhar. If this was something that was happening since the start of his term, maybe we would have looked at it differently. What has happened, Ashok Sajjanhar, and we cannot deny this has happened particularly post Operation Sindoor. And we cannot deny that maybe those ceasefire mediation claims have had a role to play in it. Maybe the world has been shocked at how well India did in its operations, predominantly on the back of made in India equipment. And the world feels, okay, the Indians have gone a little bit far too ahead and Pakistan is no longer a match for them. So we need to do something to counterbalance India. I don't know if that realization has set in. But I first want to begin by asking you, there is a lot of criticism of Indian diplomacy given the way India-US relationship was going and how suddenly after Operation Sindoor, our relationships with US have plummeted. Did India do something wrong?
No, I don't think India did anything wrong. First of all, thank you for inviting me. I don't think India did anything wrong. I think all the initiatives that have been coming, like as you said very correctly, whether it is Canada, European Union, Mexico, etc., everything is coming from the United States and the other countries are really responding to it. Similar is the case as far as India is concerned. We did not do anything, but I can take it that Mr. Trump is very peeved. He's very piqued because we told him that you have no role in settling that, in getting the ceasefire between the two countries. And he thought, that he would be a sure shot. Since Pakistan has nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize, if India were also to second that, then that would be a sure shot for him to get this Nobel Peace Prize. So he is very piqued against India. And that is why I think whether it is this 50% tariff in which he is making, India the collateral damage, or maybe even Chabahar, again, that is a win for China. And even the H-1B, that also could be a result of the peak against India. But, I would tend to agree to a very significant extent with what Tara said. Basically, let us not, convolute the two, what he's doing to India. That's right. He's pushing back against India. We have to deal with it. That's basically on the trade sector. But as far as the other issues are concerned, Shivani, we have to see, his tone on Pakistan, even in his first term, although he had come out with that tweet on 1st January, what you mentioned, that $33 billion they have taken and
they've not done much for us.
Still providing safe haven to the terrorists. But his tune had changed by the middle of 2019. He had hosted Imran Khan in the White House, in the Oval Office, and told Imran Khan, I will negotiate, I will mediate on the issue of Kashmir. And he even told him that Mr. Modi has asked me to mediate on the issue of Kashmir. So his tone on Pakistan had changed at that time because he wanted to reach out to the Taliban. And he thought that Pakistan was the good conduit. Now, coming to the present tenure, you would remember that, the chief of the CENTCOM, General Kurilla, he called Pakistan a phenomenal partner in counterterrorism.
Yes.
So, the Americans are looking at Pakistan as far as counterterrorism is concerned only in terms of what it does in the area of dealing with ISIS, dealing with Al-Qaeda. Whether it is Jaish or it is Lashkar or it is Hizbul, that does not concern them at all. That is India's problem.
So my only problem is...
Allow me to complete. I have just one more point to make. So, his peak against India is there, but his love for Pakistan is also what you said about business. And also this, it feels that it is helping it in counterterrorism. The other is, when it wanted to go and bomb Iran, then it thought that, it could get the airspace from Pakistan. It could even get an air base here. And similar is the thing as far as, the Bagram air base is concerned, that, it might need some support, although Pakistan and Taliban relations are absolutely in the bud. Pakistan will not be able to help America as far as Taliban is concerned. That is why it wants Pakistan on its side. So it's a whole lot of things why the United States is reaching out to Pakistan. Not all of its moves, Shivani, should be seen as being against India. He's just
Okay.
looking at his own interest.
I'll just say one thing. Tara Karta. I don't have a problem if, let's say, you have some independent policy that you need to take care of your interests and, therefore you're dishing out this red carpet for Pakistan. My only problem is then don't expect that India will trust you as a strategic partner.
Yeah.
US has been upset that we are not doing more with the US. We are not opening our markets. We are not buying more from them. We are not cancelling all of our friendships with everybody else. How do they expect that?
I think, okay, I'm going to just go. Did you see NATO Secretary General's attitude to
Yes.
Trump?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what he gets from everybody, and that's what he expects from us, from everyone. And that's what Pakistan gives them. Pakistan literally falls down at their feet and says, here we are. We don't do that. That is one. What you also, I'm going to go slightly off of this thing here. We always say don't bring India and Pakistan on the same front. Well, maybe this is a time to say, okay, you do what you like with Pakistan. We are going our way. We are going to do whatever talk to us separately. Why don't you turn this into an advantage? I mean, we've been cribbing all along that this India Pakistan should stop. So So in terms of the trade tariff, it's pretty much like you correctly said. It's with everybody. It's something you're going to have to deal with. But that is only one part of the relationship. The other part is where what you said comes very strongly into play. Can I trust the US in buying defense equipment
Exactly.
anymore? I'm not sure at all. So if I have to buy my next generation aircraft or the Striker deal, I would, if I was the Major General, I would say, listen, let's go look somewhere else. France is there, Germany is there. There's a bunch of countries who would like to sell us stuff. I mean, you're not reliable anymore.
Yeah.
So
no, before I take that to the Major General as well, very quickly, Tara Karta, do you see any end game here? I mean, is there some game theory at play? All of his moves on tariffs, on Pakistan, on China, on India, everybody is upset with him. Nobody is really trusting Donald Trump right now. Is everybody just biding their time for his presidency to be over, for normalcy and sense to return? Or is this doing some grave damage permanently or semi-permanently to these relationships? And do you see whatever Trump is doing, any long-term benefit for America, or is this all guided by the here and now?
at the moment, I don't see any benefit at all. But in all justice, I mean, right now he's miffed everyone, in his allies and NATO and Canada and Europe, everybody. But there is one undercurrent to what he's doing. If you must have been to the US yourself, is anything made in the US? Nothing. He is saying, bring back manufacturing to the US. We are dependent on everybody else. And there he is right.
No, I have no problem. That is his personal stance for his country. I have no problem with that. The rest of the world has to deal with it. They cannot expect that America will keep doing what it's doing. I have zero problems on that. Every country has the right to decide for themselves. But on this, on strategic alliances, he seems to be upsetting everybody. You know, today, Russia hasn't come on board. Ukraine is upset. Israel is upset. You've got other things going on in West Asia. You've upset India. How much can you bank on Pakistan?
The Japanese are upset
The
with
Japanese
them.
are upset.
The Australians are upset with them. So there is nobody whom he has not upset. Can he repair these relations which have been, I mean, the India-US relations have, been for since George W. Bush. This is going on step by step, till it reached a solid, it took a long time. All of us, I'm sure, have worked on it. Now he's caused so much damage in a few months. It's going to be very difficult to get this going back again.
And will this eventually help America is the big question. Forget the tariffs issue, just on strategic alliances. Major General, I want to give you a word on how unreliable US has proven itself to be, particularly on the defense issue. And this is a generational reminder for Indians why India has never trusted US fully.
Shivani, India never has depended totally on US, but from 2000 onwards, there was a bipartisan understanding in US, whether it is Democrats or Republican. The relationship has improved tremendously, and we are the only country which has signed 4 foundation basic agreement. That is GSOMI, General Security of Military Information, COM CASA, Communication Compatibility and Security Arrangement, LIMIO, Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, and BECA, Basic Exchange Cooperation Agreement. What are these agreements? These agreements give us leverage of a transfer of technology, latest real-time intelligence. In fact, in Galwan, what happened, the Americans have shared real-time information to India. So the point which is coming is that our relationship were increasing. We were having a confidence and faith on each other. By doing what Donald Trump has now done it, then that trust has been eroded. Then you cannot rely totally on US blindly. And especially what it has done on tariff. Of course, one can say that there is a trade surplus as far as India is concerned, about $45 billion, and that can be plugged by buying defense equipment and some energy. I think that talks are going on. But what it has done to Chabar, it has put on again the
Sanctions.
tariff on Chabar, which was excused in Trump 1.0, when we told him very candidly Chabar is very important if you have to reach to Afghanistan, bypassing Pakistan and to Central Asian state and joining North-South Transport Corridor. That time he agreed, but again he has put it. So I am trying to convey is that in today's scenario, he's now going very close to Pakistan. Maybe money will flow, investment will flow in Pakistan. Saudi Pakistan deal will also bring a lot of investment in Pakistan. That will go against us because the moment Pakistan modernize the defense forces, it will become
It will
more
be
aggressive
used
and
against
assertive.
us. Ultimately, its
And the
biggest enemy
cross-border
is
terrorism is
us.
not stopping. Now, point Shivani, one thing more. Now, very rightly brought out by the ambassador that as far as Lashkar-e-Toba, Jaise Mohammed is concerned, has no concern for US. US is only interested which has international reach, ISIS or Al Qaeda, and hence it always find that as far as Pakistan is concerned, they are allied in fighting terrorism again in the world
But
because
they
it is
hardly.
going against.
The point is,
So,
unfortunately, they hardly did. I mean, I don't think
yeah,
Pakistan
very
can
correct.
say that it
See,
helped that fight against Taliban. Look at what ultimately had to happen in Afghanistan, right?
double cross.
Double cross plus,
Pakistan is known for double crossing US also. Last in Trump
and
1.0,
the
that $4
results
million
speak for
was
themselves.
stopped.
Pakistan, US had to, just exit after 20 years with hardly any success on ground. I've got 30 seconds left. Ashok Sanjanan, I'll give you that final word. Very quickly, avenues for India.
Avenues for India, basically, I think, let's also face it, Shivani, that when we are talking about counter-terrorism, what Pakistan would say is whenever pressure is increased on it, it would hand over 2 or 3, a few of the low-level terrorists to the United States to keep them happy. You would remember that they gave this to Trump, they gave that terrorist who was responsible for the attack on 15th of August 2021 when the United States was moving out. So that makes the United States very happy. When Trump gave his State of the Union address,
Okay.
he specifically referred to this. Way forward for us is, we also need to see that tariff and trade, those are issues that we are discussing. But other elements of our bilateral partnership are proceeding reasonably smoothly. We have had the Yuddhabhyas exercises in Alaska.
Okay.
You've had the intersessional dialogue of the Quad. You have had meeting between, both our ministers are there. You have had the defense policy group that has come to India. So, the other elements of the
Okay.
relationship are proceeding. We need to look at that. We need to focus on our relationship. Pakistan is a side issue. Pakistan is a side game.
All right.
We need to focus on it, but not let that hijack our relationship with
Okay.
the United States.
Whether we are doing that
Last point
hijacking.
there. Last point there. Look at Shehbaz Sharif and Munir. They had to wait for 1 hour for Trump to come and have the meeting. There was no press, there was no projection. When today Erdogan came, he was received with full protocol. Not Shehbaz Sharif and Munir.
Okay.
They are just instruments that America wants to
Fair
use.
enough, but it's small consolation to those watching in India, how they're treated. The problem is they're still getting what they want from the US with the US kind of going back on everything, on its realizations and its learnings on dealings with Pakistan. But I'll leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us. Despite 17 editions and 41 years of Asia Cup history, this is the first time India and Pakistan will meet in the final of the tournament. The stakes couldn't be higher and the rivalry couldn't be more intense. Of all the years of this rivalry, this is the year the two meet in the final. This year has been different, with political tensions dominating the discourse from the beginning of this tournament. India has stormed into the final with dominant wins over Pakistan in both the group stage and the Super 4 stage, and no team has come close to troubling the undefeated side. Pakistan, on the other hand, clawed their way into the final with a win over Bangladesh in their last match, recovering from 45 for 5 to post 135 for 8. Just a reminder of how this tournament has gone for both sides. India beat Pakistan in their first meeting this tournament by 6 wickets. That was absolutely comprehensive and consummate, and then repeated the success in the Super 4 stage by 7 wickets. This match only closer in terms of numbers, but not in terms of performance. Now, the upcoming match in the Asia Cup final is a historic one because this is the first India-Pakistan final in the 41-year history of Asia Cup. India is the most successful team in the competition with 8 Asia Cup titles already. Sri Lanka comes second as the second most successful team, and Pakistan has won only 2 times. This year looks tough for them as well, as India stands in the way. Overall also, if you look at the head-to-head record between the two sides just in the T20 format, India has won 12 of the 15 T20I encounters against Pakistan, making them statistically the favourite as well. In fact, this was precisely the point that India captain Suryakumar Yadav made after the victory in the last match. He didn't mince any words when he said that this is no longer a rivalry worth talking about.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप लोगों को ये क्वेश्चन पूछने बंद कर देना चाहिए अभी राइवलरी के ऊपर, बिकॉज राइवलरी स्टैंडर्ड राइवलरी एक ही बात है सर. कोई टीम अच्छा क्रिकेट खेले नहीं खेले, मेरे हिसाब से अगर 2 टीमें 15-20 मैच खेल रही हैं और उसमें अगर 7 ऑल है या 8-7 से कोई आगे चल रहा है तो उसको अच्छा क्रिकेट खेलना बोलते हैं और उसको राइवलरी बोलते हैं. 13-0, 10-1, मुझे पता नहीं क्या स्टैट है, बट दिस इज नॉट अ राइवलरी एनी मोर. But yeah, I feel we played better cricket than them between 7 to 15 and also from bowling point of view.
So, can India pile on the misery on Pakistan? That's the big debate coming up. It's gone right down to the wire, and it looks like there is a daylight gap between the two sides. Let's go across to our experts joining us, Piyush Chawla and Atul Vasan, former India cricketers, Rakesh Rao, senior sports journalist, also joining us. Piyush, I'll begin with you. You agree with Suryakumar Yadav? This rivalry is no longer, the rivalry that it used to be, and we shouldn't be bogged down by this historical baggage of this whole India-Pakistan rivalry at all.
Well, I 100% agree with Surya because what he mentioned the point there, because when you look at the number, that number itself shows the difference between the two sides. And especially in this Asia Cup, if you see the way India is dominating in each and every game. If we see the last game which Pakistan played against Bangladesh, they were not able to, make it to the 150, and where else India on a difficult wicket, the way they were batting. So it shows the huge gap between these two sides easily.
Atul, you've been saying this all along. No longer the kind of rivalry that it used to be. But here we are, for the first time in Asia Cup history, the two teams are playing the final.
Yes, I think so. Now I would have a different kind of viewpoint. I think now we all know what is the reality. We fine, but now since they are in the final, we cannot take it lightly because it's only 2 or 3 players can click and just a period of 5-7 overs and the match can go. So I think. We start Stevens. We are a better team, but in a T20 game, and Pakistan, we know that somehow intrinsically when they're cornered, they bring out the best. Like yesterday, I thought they were dead and buried at 71 for 6. So I think that is one thing. But having said that, I think Pakistan, just a note of advice, if they take it, that they would do well just to focus on cricket and not on India. I think now they've reached here. I think India will also be on their toes, and we cannot be complacent. We are better, of course. But on a given day, under pressure, Pakistan, maybe a couple of players click. And I think what has happened in the last week, 10 days, I think that has to be left in the hotel room. And Pakistan more so, that if they can just focus on this game and not like India and the narrative and the whole timeline, they would be better off.
Okay. Rakesh, do you feel that this is still one of those Pakistan sides? We don't know which one turns up on the field and on their day they can upset India. Does this Pakistan team look like one of those? Or what do you make of what you've seen so far?
Well, so far, Shivani, this team looks very, very ordinary to me, and I've maintained it from day one. The gap between the two teams is huge, and the best time to beat Pakistan was in this Asia Cup. Probably the weakest T20 side that I've seen in all these years. Also, I would like to add that India has. I mean, for India, for India not to win, against this side, Indians will have to perform way below its potential or its competence. Because if India is, say, on a scale of 10, if India is on 7, they are on 3. So Indians will have to come down a few notches, whereas Pakistan will have to up their game and play some extraordinary innings or come up with some extraordinary spells. That is the only way Pakistan can get closer to India and probably win against India. But I dread to think, what if India has an off day or the Indian team has an off day on Sunday? I don't want to even think about it, because that nation is going to go berserk. They are going to hit the streets of Dubai, Pakistan, and wherever they are. Because for them, up against a 12-3 record and against all odds, having been smashed out of shape in the last two encounters, if that law of averages, if somebody believes in that, goes in their favor, which of course is showing that Pakistan can have its day, but then Indians will have to play poorly. It's not that Pakistan at its best can beat India at its best.
So when you talk about an off day, it has to be a really bad off day. I know that as far as fielding is concerned, India had certain slippages, and I think they can't afford something like that happening against Pakistan, against any team for that matter. I don't think this Indian team has really kind of written home about their fielding, despite having some of the best fielders in the world. But when you talk about an off day, where do you think it can go so horribly wrong? What are the chinks in the armor for India? Rakesh, first you.
See, for me, the fielding has to be much, much better, especially catching. You can, a few, slip ball here and there, that is okay. But catching, I'm really surprised that Indians are dropping catches. I mean, 8 catches in the last 2 matches, 12 in all. That shocks me.
But a lot of teams are doing that. A lot of teams are dropping catches.
Exactly
Is this something to do with the stadium?
Been practicing. Varun Chakravarti has gone on record saying that we have been practicing under lights. That's all fine. You have to get your act together one last time. That's it. It's just that you're fielding, because if your fielding is good, your bowlers automatically begin to look better. So it's the support from the fielders in the outfield. And because this Pakistan team it plays aggressively, it knows only one way of going there, and it's a desperate side. They'll give you chances because they're going to take chances.
Piyush, your thoughts of what India needs to guard against if it wants to have no hiccups in this final match?
Well, we know the way Abhishek Sharma bats, and he's ready to go right from the ball one. And I don't want him to go and take that safe route, but just if he sees a couple of overs with the new ball, and he's kind of player, if he's there for like 20 balls, he'll eventually reach 50, even if he's like 7-8 balls and he's on some 5 runs. So if he bats like that and just see off the new ball, and then there won't be any threat from Pakistan side, I believe.
Atul, I want to give you an opportunity as well. From everything that you've seen in India matches, where is that one problem? Could it be in the middle order, lower middle order? We do bat deep, but we haven't really been very tested.
Yeah, I think so. So that is the point for me, that if our openers don't click, then it's always eventuality. It might happen because law of averages also. But I don't want Abhishek to change his game. He has to go the way he's going. We have won all the games in the power plays the way we have gone. And after that, we've always found it difficult for the lower order batsmen. So that is our weak Achilles heel at this point. So I will be tested. If openers get out early, then how do we cope with that? That is one point. Other one is that fielding, I was seeing the data, and data is amazing. They've crunched data in ODIs, tests, and T20s. And we are right in the bottom or the middle of it in fielding department. So I think generally odd days I can imagine. And you're asking why in this stadium, because this stadium has got this ring light. and it's not the four towers. I think that also is, and that is universal for all the players. But I can't point it as a reason for our below average
Okay.
display in the field, because we are much better than this. And Pakistan is also actually just below us anyway. So they are not better than us. But on a given day, crucial catches can take the match away from you. So I think this, if the openers don't click, how do we cope with that? And the bowling, we have made up for our lack in the fielding department by our individual brilliance. But I think a couple of players, you don't just bank on them, because there are other players, and in a big game, everybody has to carry their own weight.
All right. Well, when we talk about this Asia Cup, what has also stood out, of course, as I mentioned, that India and Pakistan have always played under a lot of historical baggage of bilateral ties, etc. But this year has been different. And this year, even the players have not shied away from making themselves heard. And that's how all the drama in the Asia Cup started from the very first match when India and Pakistan came up against each other. There were a lot of calls for boycott. Many people in India were unhappy that India and Pakistan shouldn't even play together. But it's the drama superseding the cricket. Remember, in match 1, India refused to shake hands with the Pakistani team, and then India captain Surya Kumar Yadav even went on to mention Operation Sindoor in the post-match press conference. Come match 2, Sahibzada from the Pakistani team did a gun-firing celebration that was heavily criticized in India, and Haris Rauf was seen making jet downing gestures, again something that caught the eye of Indian fans. Now, what happened after that was that complaints were filed by the BCCI against the Pakistani players' gestures, and PCB also then belatedly filed a complaint against Surya Kumar Yadav's comments. But has all of this overtaken what should have been the focus on the ground? Rakesh, I want to bring you first in on this. How does the Indian team, they've been talking about it, but how does the Indian team really silence all of the noise around them as they step out for a third match in one tournament against Pakistan?
Shivani, Indians don't need to look anywhere else. I mean, they know their job. It's a professional unit. They know that unless they win tomorrow, everything else would be taken as absolutely useless. Those two victories will also be forgotten by Indian fans in no time. Don't forget, our own fans are pretty fickle, and as long as we are in a comfortable position, they will back the team. Otherwise, if Indians are under pressure, all you hear is wherever you go, most of the fans will say, "Yaar, ab to haar jayenge." This is how strong our fans are. They don't back the team, so the team knows that. But team has to shut itself out completely and say, "Okay, we are doing it for ourselves. Let's do it for the country." All those sentences sound great, but you have a job to finish. You have been sent there to play cricket, not to make any noises. You have said whatever you wanted to say. You wanted to hit back. You wanted to give it to the opposition. You've given it on the field, off the field. That's all great, but you still have a match to finish. You have a tournament to win, and the entire nation stands by you. But the result is important. How you get there, even tomorrow. Although for me, when it all started, for me, this was just another continental regional tournament, nothing more. And Indians should have and could have easily refused to host the tournament and backed off and said, "We have nothing to do." But those days are gone now. You have a job to finish. Just shut out the noise, and Indians are good enough to do their job.
Yeah. Piyush, the team has already shown that regardless of all the noise around them, they're very good at focusing professionally on what they need to do on the field. And the experience that is, there in this Indian side versus the Pakistani side, do you think Indians would be lighter on their feet as far as this whole baggage is concerned versus Pakistan?
Well, they won't be thinking anything else, and they won't take it lightly at all, because as Rakesh sir just mentioned, people will forget what happened in the last two games. So this game will there's huge point to put it across, because winning the cup is very important, especially when the final is against Pakistan. So it's very important. Just go out there, follow your process, and play your normal cricket, what they have been doing it so far in the tournament. And if the Indian team do that and everyone just do their role perfectly, India will come victorious. But they have to really make sure that they are focusing on the process. The result will definitely follow.
Atul, the pressure is greater on India or Pakistan, you feel? The off-field pressure, not the on-field pressure.
Pakistan, I think, because they are the underdogs. I think so. If they don't come out aggressive, they will lose the game. And I think for India, it's just a game. It's not more than a game. A little bit more than the normal games. But for Pakistan, this is exactly just the game is there, but there's more attached to the game, and that is what will hamper them. So I think India is much better placed in maturity, in kind of preparation, in kind of talent, and in kind of mindset. I think game awareness and all. I think they will not actually take it more than what it is, and I think that is the crucial point in this game going forward.
Well, so far they've shown that absolutely nothing off field has affected them performance-wise, and let's hope that that continues. Speaking of performance, I want to talk about the phenomenon that is Abhishek Sharma, and we've all been talking about him. Just to look at his numbers in Asia Cup 2025, he's played 5 matches, 248 runs, but look at that strike rate that everybody keeps talking about, 206, 250 already in this tournament. In T20I's International, there's a reason why he's been touted as the next big thing, or already the big thing. 197.7 is his strike rate, 783 runs in 22 matches, an average of also 37-38, which is not bad. 200s and 450s. And remember, he came against Pakistan for the very first time in T20Is in this tournament as well. How did he do against Pakistan? Exceedingly well. An average of 52, a strike rate of 201.9 and 150. That was, of course, a magnificent one to watch out for. Let's just listen into what Sky had to say both on Abhishek Sharma and the partnership between him and Shubman Gill.
I think he's very, very selfless when it comes to his batting style. As he passes the power play, he can still bat the same way how he bats in the power play. But the way he analyzes the situation post power play, what is required of him, what bowlers are going to bowl, I think that's a plus point for him. And he's learning every game. And with Shubman, everyone knows what kind of player he is and what he brings to the table, what he brings to the team. The only thing I want to say about him is he knows how to score runs, and the way he scored it today is actually a sign of a very good batter. He would have done the same thing what Abhishek was doing. He backed his shots, risk high, and that we've been practicing a lot, and I was really happy to see him play that in the game. So yeah.
Let's go across to our experts to talk a little bit more about Abhishek Sharma and the phenomenon that he has been. Piyush, I want your words first.
Well, Abhishek, we all know what he's capable of. And it's not only about the strike rate, because with that kind of a strike rate to show that kind of a consistency, because you're batting, you're taking high risk, but still you're getting those high rewards. So that's why he has become a sensation in Indian T20 cricket and in this setup. And especially on those Dubai pitches, which is not that easy when the ball gets little older. So he's utilizing the new ball with a good effect and making sure that India is getting that kind of a start. When the middle order comes into bat, they have those few balls to, get their eye in. That's why Abhishek Sharma is really, really special.
Atul?
Yeah, I think, but it's very hard to keep this up. Mind you, because in T20, the way he's batting, there's always a chance that, he might get out. And there will be a time in his career going forward where we'll have a lean patch where he will be going the same way. And I don't think so that he's got the mindset to just change his game according to how he's batting and who is he playing. So I think his mindset is very uncluttered. So I think that is his USP also. But that might be will be times where he will get out cheaply also. But we'll have to have the patience, because whenever he'll click, I think India will
he can set up the match
on sure footing, yes.
for us.
Yes.
But I don't think with India's batting lineup, Abhishek should worry about if he's getting out cheaply, isn't it, Rakesh? I think those matches will happen, but I don't think the team would ever want him to kind of curtail himself.
No, nobody would like to even, do anything with his natural play. Let him go out, let him get out on zero. It is much like, I remember in 1996 when the Sri Lankans came here, their openers were Jayasuriya and Kalu Vitarna. Their averages in 50-over game were 16 and 18. And Jayasuriya said, and at that time, I remember Arvind, what's the name? This guy, what's the name? Arjuna Ranatunga was the skipper. He made it very clear before the India match. He said, even if they get out, what will happen? We'll be 0 for 2. But if they click, in the first power play, we will have the kind of cushion where we can definitely go and blast the opposition.
Right.
That's exactly what happened in that key match against Sri Lanka. Against India, they lost 2 guys. They were 1 for 2. And from there, we were never in the game because we thought we had already won the match. So here, Abhishek is there. But as long as Abhishek is there, he'll give you those runs. He'll give you but what if he's not there? Now, the thing is, Indians also know that. I mean, since we are talking about it, Indians have also thought about it. What if he has a bad day?
Yes.
But Indians are capable. We bat deep. We know how to rotate strike. My only thing is that whatever he gives you tomorrow or day after, as and when, that should be taken as that's what he's expected to do. Let's be fair to him. Let's not expect him to come good every single time. He can also he's entitled to failures. But if he comes good, Indians are in very safe zone.
Absolutely. I leave it at that. I do thank our experts for joining us. The big coverage of the India-Pakistan match will continue here on CNN News 18. Time for a very short break.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Over to some breaking inputs coming in from Canada. The detention and humiliation of Gurjeet Singh, a retired Havaldar of the Indian Army's Assam Rifles, by the Canada Border Services Agency has now sparked outrage. This among the Indo-Canadian community. Singh, who served 24 years defending India, arrived in Vancouver on 17th of September this year with a valid Canadian visitor visa to meet his son and extended family. Now, instead, CBSA officers Mark Simpson and DeCosta detained him, accused his regiment of being a terrorist group and subjected him to psychological abuse. The Indian Army veteran was shown fake propaganda material on Google which talks about human rights violation by the Indian Army. Despite his family offering a $10,000 bond, Singh was declared a national security threat. Now, the CBSA has further humiliated him by attempting to...
Shifting focus now to some more breaking news that's coming in. What we're learning via our sources is that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to be in India next month. This is his first visit to India after he took over as the Prime Minister. We're given to understand that this invitation was extended by Prime Minister Modi himself to the British Prime Minister, to his counterpart. Based on that particular invitation that was extended by Prime Minister Modi, we're learning that Keir Starmer is expected to be in India soon. Siddhant, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Yes, Siddhant.
Well, that's right. So we've been told that dates are almost finalized. In fact, they are in the last stage of finalization. But in all likelihood, British Prime Minister will visit India early second week of October. This is what we've been told. In fact, this is going to be his first visit to India after becoming the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Prime Minister Modi extended invitation to British Prime Minister at the time of FTA signing in London. And in fact, both leaders met at the G20 in Brazil. Then both leaders also met at G7 summit in Kananaskis. In fact, on 6th of May, this year, both countries announced the free trade agreement, and in fact now then there was the signing of official signing of the agreement, and now British Prime Minister is going to undertake his first official visit to India next month.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the latest.
This is News 18 Network.
Activist Sonam Wangchuk has been arrested by the Leh police amid arrest in Ladakh and has been taken to an undisclosed location. The activist has been arrested under NSA. Violent protests that marred Ladakh had claimed at least 4 lives and injured 90. The protest led by Wangchuk along with the Leh apex body and the Kargil Democratic Alliance seeks full statehood and inclusion under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution for Ladakh. Time for a very short break. The Right Stand is coming up next.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Shifting focus now to some more breaking news that's coming in. What we're learning via our sources is that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to be in India next month. This is his first visit to India after he took over as the Prime Minister. We're given to understand that this invitation was extended by Prime Minister Modi himself to the British Prime Minister, to his counterpart. Based on that particular invitation that was extended by Prime Minister Modi, we are learning that Keir Starmer is expected to be in India soon. Siddhant, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Yes, Siddhant.
Well, that's right. So we've been told that dates are almost finalized. In fact, they are in the last stage of finalization. But in all likelihood, British Prime Minister will visit India early second week of October. This is what we've been told. In fact, this is going to be his first visit to India after becoming the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Prime Minister Modi extended invitation to British Prime Minister at the time of FTA signing in London. And in fact, both leaders met at the G20 in Brazil. Then both leaders also met at G7 summit in Kananaskis. In fact, on 6th of May, this year, both countries announced the free trade agreement, and in fact now then there was the signing of official signing of the agreement, and now British Prime Minister is going to undertake his first official visit to India next month.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the latest.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Shifting focus now to some more breaking news that's coming in. What we're learning via our sources is that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to be in India next month. This is his first visit to India after he took over as the Prime Minister. We're given to understand that this invitation was extended by Prime Minister Modi himself to the British Prime Minister, to his counterpart. Based on that particular invitation that was extended by Prime Minister Modi, we are learning that Keir Starmer is expected to be in India soon. Siddhant, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Yes, Siddhant.
Well, that's right. So we've been told that dates are almost finalized. In fact, they are in the last stage of finalization. But in all likelihood, British Prime Minister will visit India early second week of October. This is what we've been told. In fact, this is going to be his first visit to India after becoming the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Prime Minister Modi extended invitation to British Prime Minister at the time of FTA signing in London. And in fact, both leaders met at the G20 in Brazil. Then both leaders also met at G7 summit in Kananaskis. In fact, on 6th of May, this year, both countries announced the free trade agreement, and in fact now then there was the signing of official signing of the agreement, and now British Prime Minister is going to undertake his first official visit to India next month.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the latest.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Shifting focus now to some more breaking news that's coming in. What we're learning via our sources is that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to be in India next month. This is his first visit to India after he took over as the Prime Minister. We're given to understand that this invitation was extended by Prime Minister Modi himself to the British Prime Minister, to his counterpart. Based on that particular invitation that was extended by Prime Minister Modi, we are learning that Keir Starmer is expected to be in India soon. Siddhant, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Yes, Siddhant.
Well, that's right. So we've been told that dates are almost finalized. In fact, they are in the last stage of finalization. But in all likelihood, British Prime Minister will visit India early second week of October. This is what we've been told. In fact, this is going to be his first visit to India after becoming the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Prime Minister Modi extended invitation to British Prime Minister at the time of FTA signing in London. And in fact, both leaders met at the G20 in Brazil. Then both leaders also met at G7 summit in Kananaskis. In fact, on 6th of May, this year, both countries announced the free trade agreement, and in fact now then there was the signing of official signing of the agreement, and now British Prime Minister is going to undertake his first official visit to India next month.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for getting us the latest.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Shifting focus now to some more breaking news that's coming in. What we're learning via our sources is that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expected to be in India next month. This is his first visit to India after he took over as the Prime Minister. We're given to understand that this invitation was extended by Prime Minister Modi himself to the British Prime Minister, to his counterpart. Based on that particular invitation that was extended by Prime Minister Modi, we're learning that Keir Starmer is expected to be in India.
Good evening. You're watching The Right Stand. I'm Akanksha Swaroop. Climate activist Sonam Wangchuk has been arrested today by the Ladakh police. This for spearheading an agitation over the demands of statehood and 6th scheduled status for the Union Territory of Ladakh. Wangchuk has been charged under the stringent National Security Act. Remember, the NSA allows for long preventive detention without bail. Sources have indicated that Wangchuk has already been flown out to an undisclosed location. Remember, violence in Leh has left several people dead, many injured as Ladakh's demand for statehood and 6th scheduled status spiraled into clashes. The police firing injured over 30 personnel after protests turned violent following activist Sonam Wangchuk's hunger strike. The centre has blamed provocative remarks while locals have accused Delhi of delaying the talks. And so in today's edition of The Right Stand, we